Representative Bucy, welcome to the program here. We saw Governor Abbott decide to end the special session early. Speaker Burrows decided to end it early on Friday as well. What do you make of that? Because at the end of the day, it looks like that is a win for Democrats.
It's a huge win for Texas Democrats. We committed to killing this special session, and they made threats against us. They told their supporters to hunt us down. They filed lawsuits. They've done everything they can think of to intimidate us, and it didn't work. And now they gave up, and they gave up early.
Well, tell me what's next in here. If the House does not put flood relief first, like Democrats want, what will it take to bring Democrats back to Texas?
Look, the governor is the only person that gets to call a special session, and he sets the priorities. He has said he is taking care of the people of Texas. We have said clearly he's not. If he puts redistricting on this call, he is serving Donald Trump and Donald Trump only. When he sets the next special agenda, we will get to see, does Governor Abbott care about the people of Texas, or does he care about Donald Trump? I hope he puts flood relief on. I hope he thinks about our crumbling schools that he has not given support to. I hope he thinks about how Texas is last in healthcare coverage. But if he puts redistricting to still 5 congressional seats on the call, then the people of Texas know loud and clear that Greg Abbott does not serve them. He serves Donald Trump only. And so we'll find out. And he's the only one that can make that decision.
And to make sure I'm clear, if redistricting is on the call but isn't the first thing taken up by the House, is that a no deal for Democrats?
I think the Democrats are still going to work through what we need to do. I'll tell you, beyond killing the special session, the other thing we had to do was make sure other Democrats around this country were willing to fight fire with fire. And we're seeing that. California has stepped up. It was an idea. Now they're taking action. We're going to see them work to nullify. And that's not good enough. We need to stop gerrymandering, period. And so the hope is that Greg Abbott comes to his senses and realizes what he's doing is wrong, and he needs to get back to serving the people of Texas. And I think the thing he could do best is he could send executive office authority money to help the flood victims right now before a special session is called, something he's been withholding to show that he's not playing political games.
And we have seen the California governor, Gavin Newsom, say, listen, we are going to move forward. If Texas moves forward, we're going to move forward also with drawing 5 more Democratic seats in his state there. But if other states follow suit, though, Representative, at what point does all this end?
It all ends at the ballot box when we get rid of people that are willing to steal congressional seats like Greg Abbott and Donald Trump. That's how we ultimately win this. And the people of America, the people of Texas, can't give in and can't get jaded. We have to do what we can right now, and then we have to engage at the ballot box like we have never seen before. When we go back and we make sure, whether you're Democrat or Republican, we are electing elected officials that fight for this Constitution and fight for representation for the people, not against the people, which Greg Abbott and Donald Trump are doing.
2 weeks now in Illinois. How do you think you're going to look back on this?
I'm excited that this has started a national conversation, that we've lit a spark, and now we're seeing people from across the country taking action and figuring out what they can do to help fight back against Donald Trump's authoritarian reach.
At the end of the day, I've seen how these things play out. You know full well how these things play out. Republicans have the votes. When you guys at some point show back up, they're going to likely pass redistricting. What do you think a win will look like for Democrats, though, for Texas Democrats?
Well, if they pass that map, that will be a loss for the people of Texas. And so we're going to continue to use the tools we have to fight against it. A win for Texas Democrats has happened. We committed to killing that special. Success. We have raised a national conversation. Success. We have also now have other states in an arms race, if you will, ready to stop or respond in kind to what Greg Abbott and Donald Trump are doing. We don't have all the power in the world. You're correct about the numbers. We have enough numbers to break quorum and use that tool. We don't have enough to win the vote ultimately. But what we have done has we've seen tangible effects from our actions.
And people watching this will say, listen, we have seen it. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said, you guys made your point. Democrats made their point. But people are asking, how much longer can you stay out? You have businesses, you have families in Texas. At some point, you have to come back, don't you?
Well, I think at some point, I'm sure we will. But right now, we're not going to take any option off the table. And we're working as a unit and a group. And we're pretty unified up here. And we're working together to figure out the best step forward. And we're also, it's not just us. We're watching what other states do, and And as those things happen, it will have an impact on us.
And to make sure I'm clear here too, Representative, what is the one thing that you think Democrats need to see in order to return to the state?
Well, I don't know. That's going to be a collective group that we decide. I mean, what we needed to see was a conversation happen. We've done that. What we needed to see was other states respond. That's happening. Ultimately, right now, the best thing that could happen is Greg Abbott remembers the 31 million Texans he's supposed to be serving and not the one man in the White House.
I want to ask about another interview we have in this program here. The Republican Party of Texas Chairman Abraham George told us that he now is going to push to redistrict state House seats like the one you sit in as well after the congressional maps, if those get passed. What's your reaction to that?
Abraham George has done a lot of temper tantrums online. I've seen over the years. He's very similar to Greg Abbott and Ken Paxton. They're full of a lot of bluster, but I don't see a lot of action to help the people of Texas from any of them.
And what's the message you want to send to your constituents in Round Rock and Austin?
We've been following our constituents' outreach throughout this whole thing, and I'm about 95% of the outreach I've received has been in favor of my actions. They're asking me to keep fighting and to keep serving them this way. And I just want to tell them, thank you for having my back and giving me the support you've given me. This is tough to be here, but it's important to be here. I missed my daughter's first day of school ever yesterday. Didn't get to take her to school. That's something that, is tough to deal with. But to be able to know that if I don't do this, and if Greg Abbott and Donald Trump can steal 5 congressional seats and rig the midterm elections and ultimately cut health care for millions of Americans, if I didn't fight back and do what I could, then I think my daughters would be more ashamed of me later down the road. So in spite of having to miss that first day of school this week, I'm thankful that one day they'll understand their dad stood up and fought back.
And Democrats have faced bomb threats, have faced doxing, have faced all kinds of things when you're out of state up there. What's it like right now? Have things settled down at all for Democrats?
The threats online are still there. The comments on Twitter, the cars outside of our houses are still happening. But I tell you, it really isn't about us. I mean, we're 50 plus people that are just one piece, the first piece maybe, but one piece in the resistance against Donald Trump's authoritarian takeover. And I don't think any of us have really put too much thought into the fines or the threats or the penalties. We are so worried that if they're allowed to steal the midterm elections, that America as we know it will not look the same. And we want to stop that action. And that's just the most important part of what's happening here.
Last question for you. We have seen a lot of bluster from the Attorney General Ken Paxton, from the Governor Greg Abbott on things that he would like to do to the Democrats who left the state. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the House rules that are likely going to have the most impact on you guys. What kind of punishment do you expect from Republicans who are in charge of the House?
I haven't put much thought into the punishment they're going to bring. I know they're doing a lot of bluster. I think we've seen, Greg Abbott and Ken Paxton are weak men who have to use bluster and bully tactics because they're not effective at doing their jobs. I I don't know, and I'm not that worried about it. I can tell you this: my constituents want me to serve them this way, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm ready to go fight in courts or on the floor, or whatever else is needed, proving that I'm standing up for my constituents and I'm doing my job as a state representative.
Representative, good to see you. I appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me.